my relationship is like, I save it, I invest it in the business.
You know, what's the toughest part, I guess, about being a business owner? You're about to open the business, to give yourself one piece of advice, right? Because I'm sure other people are at this point in time, right now. Like, what would be that piece of advice for the business?
It's your journey. If God decides you to fail that business in order to learn something, that's the way he's gonna go.
Most people try to make money quick every day for the rest of their life, and they don't make any money at all. So that would be my advice. The other thing that I would say just in general is, welcome back to the Macro Show. I am joined today by Camilo Solis from Argentina.
Thank you so much, Forrest.
Happy to have you. We're gonna go through and explore his relationship with money. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know, but we're gonna have fun along the way. If you're new here, go ahead, watch all the other videos, subscribe, share this video with your friends, call your parents, tell them you love them. Camilo.
Yep.
Welcome to the show, man. So you own a pizza restaurant, right?
That's correct.
Over in, what city?
Boca. Boca Raton.
Over in Boca Raton. I've been, the pizza is awesome. Check it out if you're in Miami or Boca or anywhere close by, check it out. Before we talk about kind of what you're doing now, let's go back to your roots, right?
Okay.
So you're from Argentina.
Correct.
Tell me how you ended up here. What was your relationship with money as a kid?
So I would say my family comes from a poor background. I hear stories about my parents like growing up that they didn't have any money to like for food, right?
Yeah.
As they were growing up, my grandfather developed a company that it's like plastic bags company, right?
Okay.
And all the family started working there, and they pushed the business to another level.
Why plastic bags? You just saw an opportunity?
He just saw, when you have a green light, he just went straight to it.
Nice.
He started selling like papers, and then he started producing his own plastic bags.
Okay.
So I grew up with my two parents. My mother, she usually takes care of everything when it comes to money. So my dad would get his checks, let's say, and he would give the checks to my mom just to keep it safe. Because my dad is the dangerous guy.
Yeah.
He buys the stuff.
So he's not the best manager of money.
Well, I wouldn't say he's the worst manager, but when he wants something, he buys it. And well, I think I got that from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. But now I'm learning my mom's way.
Yeah.
Of managing the money. So back in the days, I remember asking my parents about money, and they would lie to me.
Yeah.
They will tell me that they will have like less than the average, it was not true. Once I grew older, the company got bigger, the plastic bag company got bigger, and we started like being okay with money. Like everybody had their house. My parents actually, they built their own house in Buenos Aires. We used to have a couple cars. That's strange. That's not an average in Argentina. Argentina right now, it's like 45% of the people is poor.
Oh, wow.
That means that 50% of the population doesn't have anything to eat, right? So that's not average. Like I grew up in a house where nothing was like, I wanted something and they got it to me.
You just get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was basically my childhood.
Okay. So you grew up pretty, what we'd say, like affluent compared to like your peers there. What did that teach you? Like, so your grandfather obviously started that business and your family was working there. Is that a reason why you kind of got into entrepreneurship?
No, the reason that I got into entrepreneurship is like I never saw myself working for somebody else. And I went to culinary school, which is not cheap, still not cheap in Argentina. So I started the classes like in March, and in November I was finishing it. So I started, looking at the average salary of a cook in Argentina. I literally, I started having a panic attack because I go like, wow, these cooks get paid less than what's the bill for the Culinary Institute.
Wow.
I was like, oh, that's crazy. So for me, it was either going abroad and work in another, like in a stronger currency than the Argentinian peso, or starting my own thing and just figure it out. Like work your way to success.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this, but I used to have my little bakery back in Buenos Aires.
Really?
Yeah.
Doing like sweets and like cake or like what?
Mostly bread.
Mostly bread. Okay.
Mostly bread and the Argentinian croissants that we call it media lunas.
Okay.
So I was working pretty hard.
All right.
I was by myself, it was intense.
So you go to school, you look at how much money you can make, and you're like, fuck, like there's not enough. So you go,
Yeah.
you start your own business essentially because you didn't want to work for somebody else making no money. What was it like opening your bakery?
So it was in the pandemic. And everybody started, like selling products from their houses because they couldn't go out. Like there was a curfew and nobody could go out. You can actually go to jail at that time if you went, chilling on the streets.
It was that lockdown?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty bad. I started, making bread at home in a small little oven with a small little dough mixer. I started selling. Like,
How did that do?
did pretty well. It got too big that my parents had to help me out, like buying up an oven because I couldn't handle the volume.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, it got too big that I was the only guy working there. So it's pretty tough.
Yeah. So that's going pretty well.
Yeah.
What made you go from bakery to pizza? When did pizza come into your life? You're pretty passionate about pizza.
Yeah.
Last time I saw you.
I think I'm more passionate about bread, to be honest.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. But so I'm these kind of people that you tell them to do something and they will do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, I will follow your advices on investing for sure.
Yeah.
Because I have no clue sometimes. But if the people go to the left, I usually tend to go right.
Yeah.
And everybody was crazy about Neapolitan pizza, which is a doughy pizza.
Yeah.
And I started getting crazy about New York pizza, which is thinner, crispier. It's
Yeah.
completely the opposite.
That's better. That is better pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I started like getting crazy about it, like researching and watching videos, documentary series, and like one day I was scrolling through Instagram and I see this friend of the family posting a shop in Long Island, and it was for a pizza making position.
Yeah.
I said like, okay, I mean, I gotta go. I've been researching this much. I need to go. So I flew to Long Island, learned how to make pizza.
Wait, from Argentina?
Well, from Argentina to here, and then here, LaGuardia Airport.
Okay. Long
And then
Island. All right.
a taxi took me to Long Island. It cost me like $150.
Yep. I mean, from LaGuardia to Long Island,
Well,
that's
4 years ago.
all right. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
it was pretty bad.
It depends. All right. So you go, you learn how to make pizza, right? How long were you, I guess, learning the pizza ways?
So to make pizza, it took me 2 months.
2 months.
Like to perfectly make a round pizza.
And then from there, you were like, pizza business.
Yeah, which is completely different from what I learned in Long Island.
So walk me, I think our viewers are going to appreciate it, right? So you had, the bakery did well in Argentina. I'm sure
Yeah.
doing a business there and doing a business here is probably
Yeah.
pretty different. So what was like the biggest unexpected hurdle or like difficulty starting a pizza business in Boca?
The culture like changes. It's something that it takes a long time to like get used to. Now I see changes like in the business, for example. but when it comes to in terms of the product, in Argentina, you can go to the place and you have the pizza there, right? You get with some friends, you go there, you just chill in the place, like a regular restaurant.
Yeah.
Here, it's all like takeout and delivery.
Yeah.
That's something that it really shook me. Like, well, I'm selling a good product, but the business that I want is not happening.
You want people to come in and like sit down and
exactly.
hang out.
To get to know more, about the company, the name of the place, about the people that's making your food, for example. I see that that's not happening.
Yeah.
So that's one of the first cultural shocks that just hit me. Yeah.
What about on was there anything like financially that was hard? Like, how did you finance this business, right? I'm sure it's not free, right? So you have to do the rent, you have to buy products. How does that work?
For a person so I'm here with an investor's visa, right? I can only work in my company and I can only like take care of what I do and not even like put hands in the dough. Let's say if we was like if we get into migration kind of things, I can only be like supervising everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, like you're not allowed to actually make the pizza technically?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't see anything. No.
But that's pretty bad because you have to, for example, hire people that is not qualified for the job.
Right.
Just because the immigration officer wants it, But in terms of finances, like financially, for me there was no credit, for example. In an economy that's based on credit for businesses, I was not able to get any credit.
Yeah.
So I have to put cash up front for everything.
Wow.
Everything from employees to the purchase of the place. There was no like working capital, like credited working capital for the business to make the business grow. And like adding to that, you get like the recipe to follow. You have a recipe from the migration officer that tells you exactly what they want. And sometimes what they want is not what is beneficial to you.
For the business.
Yeah,
right?
I had to have 6 employees with one store that was doing $25,000 a month, which is nothing.
6 employees?
Yeah, I had to.
That's insane for any business.
That's crazy.
For those of you who like, even at minimum wage, what's minimum wage? $7.25?
No, now it changed. Now it's going. I think that it's 14 for non-tipped workers, and it's going to 12 to 13 for people that that's getting tips.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you have to do this process. So I guess if you could go back, knowing what you know now, you've been here. How long have you had the business? Around
August, we're going to turn 4 years, so 3.5, let's say.
So if you could go back in time now to like Camilo, you're about to open the business, to give yourself one piece of advice, right? Because I'm sure other people are at this point in time, right now. Like what would be that piece of advice for the business?
Any type of business or food related?
Food related.
Okay. So I would say like the first thing is like, please rent a place where thousands of people walking around your storefront.
Yeah.
Please. Because if you go to Boca with at 9 o'clock, everything's closed, you will be in my place.
Yeah. So location.
Location is the first thing. First thing.
That applies to a lot of businesses though, right? So there's a gym that used to be next door, Elevation, and they just moved to Midtown, right? And what's really interesting it's only a few blocks, but the new gym doesn't have a parking lot, and the culture of this gym was people would pull up to the gym in their cars. So it'd be like a lot of supercars, and that was kind of like the vibe of the gym. But I noticed that since they moved to Midtown, that there's no space for all these cars, and so like the group of customers that they serve is changed, and so it really matters a lot, even for the studio, right? That we're here, like people like this location because of where it is in the city, and even moving a few blocks or even it can make a huge difference on like just the availability or access to your business, right? So that's a big one. What else? What's something else that you would?
So I would tell them to be patient and not do any movement or any money movement or transaction until you have everything solved. Every single problem that you can have in the business has to be you have to write it down on the paper, numbers clear, and possible, whatever possible problem that you can come across, you have to have a solution before opening the business.
Before it happens.
Yeah.
So kind of like thinking ahead of like what are possible issues, and then having like a financial plan.
Yeah.
For that. So how would you? So knowing everything what you know now, right? So there's some questions that I want to ask you, right? Now that we've kind of chatted a little bit, right?
Dale.
So how do you feel, I guess, about your relationship with money today, right? 4 years in the business.
So at this moment, I feel that I'm working a lot. I'm putting a lot of hours into this business. I want the business is not exactly like returning me a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm actually putting money into the business.
Yeah.
So that's huge. I had to learn how to be patient too with how to spend the money correctly.
Yeah.
For example, I don't go buy a chain.
Yeah.
I don't go places.
You mentioned you like buying stuff, so maybe not anymore.
Yeah, no, not anymore. Not anymore. No. Actually, a customer from me says like one of the biggest teachers is like losing money.
Yeah.
In life,
I've been taught a lot. Trust me, I get it. Yeah.
So I'm putting a lot of hours into something that is not returning me a lot of money. Well, the money that I want, and my relationship is like, I save it, I invest it in the business.
Yeah.
Get a penny. That penny goes into marketing. That penny goes into repairing the appliances.
Yeah.
I don't know about your business, but in my business, whenever something is like going perfect, that is actually wrong. Like if something's happening. If something's chill, something's happening.
Something's about to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I save $2,000, what's been happening is like I save and I have to spend it on repairing. Like magically the oven is not working anymore.
Yeah.
And once you fix that problem, another problem comes.
Everything tends to happen like all at once.
So I would say that my relationship with money would be like I have it and it's gone.
And this, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but what's the toughest part, I guess, about being a business owner, right? You're 4 years in. I'm sure like emotionally there's ups and downs, right?
Yep.
So what is the biggest, I guess, struggle just as a business owner in your perspective?
I would say that all of the problems of your business are because of you. Like the employees are not showing up like early enough. It's your fault. Pizza came out burnt. It's your fault of not checking. Everything you have to take there's responsibility for every single fault.
Yeah.
That happens, even though it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Why is that? I agree, by the way, but why take that perspective?
So let's say that a kid comes to you and disrespects you. Would you go blame the kid or blame the parents that are taking care of the kid?
Probably the parents.
Correct. Yeah. So
Yep.
you are the parent to the business.
Yep.
If something's going bad, you are the issue.
Yeah. I call that, or some people call that like extreme accountability, but it's basically, so the philosophy I live by that basically everything is my fault, right? Which a lot of people don't like because we live in a complex world where like, there's tons of inequity in society and people love to bring that up. And I get it. Like I'm a black guy in America, but it's easier for me as a person that wants to do a lot to just be responsible for everything. Because when you give up responsibility, right, you give up your power to solve the problem. That's the other thing. So if it's not your fault, it never gets fixed, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah,
That's the issue with not being responsible. I love that. How do you feel about capitalism in general? This is a fun one.
It's the only system that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was born and raised in a socialist economy.
Yeah.
And it's unfair.
Break that down because socialism is a very overused word, right? Obviously, it's real. But what did socialism look like in Argentina specifically?
Oh, yeah, you know what? You are right. I think that like socialism and communism are really, really good in the theory. Like I love you, I want you to do well. I want you to have the same opportunities that I had. That's perfect, that's perfect. But when I start working my ass off to get something and I have to pay taxes on whatever I buy,
yeah,
and the taxes go to like funding you that you are not doing anything at home to get to go buy the thing that I've been working my ass off, that's like a nonsense, right?
Yeah.
I'm working, you're not, but you're still getting what I'm buying, what I'm having. So this entire Robin Hood like kind of mentality makes the world the worst place to be.
Yeah. So how do you feel? And I mean, this is a really fun topic for me. So how do you feel about like the ultra wealthy? Do you feel like capitalism has downsides in terms of like ultra wealthy, like billionaires?
I think that the only issue that I can come across is like the system being a monopoly.
Yeah.
But that's banned in America. So,
well, not really. There's a ton of monopolies in America, but I agree. So for anybody curious, I'm a capitalist, right? I'm an entrepreneur, but I think it's complicated because one of the things that we do in America is we have this idea of a free market, right? But it's not really free. It's heavily regulated, and it tends to benefit. Think of small business, right? They'll add a lot of regulation and red tape for small businesses. So if you want to start a business, it's very expensive. But if you have a business, it's very cheap. So that's how you end up with these really big corporations that they essentially can never go out of business because the government starts protecting them. But in a true capitalist society, right, big businesses should be able to fail, right? So we had like the downturn in 2009, really big economic failure, but America bailed out the auto companies, right? So a bunch of our taxpayer money went to bail out car manufacturers as well as the banks. But in my opinion, they should have failed, right? Because capitalism, if you don't make money, just because you're Ford, like, doesn't mean you get to stay in business. Like, they should go out of business. And then new companies would come into play. And what's really cool as consumers, the prices of cars would go down, right? Because a crashing economy actually makes things cheaper. So that's how I feel about capitalism. But I love asking people about it because, again, here when we talk about socialism, most people agree with the idea of not giving people handouts necessarily, right? I think that there's some things that we should socialize, like, school. Like, I think public education is good. Like, people should, like, if you're born in a poor family, you should be able to learn, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So things like that are important, but interesting. So this leads me to my next question. What does success in your business look like? What's your dream for your business?
So success for me is like before, like seeing people before opening the door of the restaurant. Like, how crazy some places are, like that they are not even open and they have like 100 people in line waiting to be served. That's success.
Yeah.
Success in my business, it's having all the tables packed, being impeccable with what you do.
Yeah.
With the service that you offer. A lot of people actually think that the food business, it's about the food. It's not. It's about the hospitality that you give. I can give you the best food in the world. I can cook you an entire meal if you want. But then I treat you like shit. you're not coming back again. Well, you're
Some
actually
people are into that. No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, some people are kinky like that. You know, they go into these places. Hey, yeah, what can I get for you? Yeah, okay, take your change. That's it. No, that's not who I am. No.
That's like Miami service. The service in Miami is terrible.
gosh.
Some of the worst service.
I hate that.
If you're in Miami and you work in the service industry, what is wrong with you guys? Some of the worst service I've ever had anywhere ever.
Yeah, you are going to work.
It's
I
insane.
mean, if your cat died that morning, I won't expect you to be happy or like smiling, but come on.
Yeah.
My cat didn't die.
So your goals aren't really financial in your business. To you, it's more about walking and just seeing that people love coming to your business. Right?
Yeah.
Or I guess, is there a financial component? Like, do you want to have more stores? Is it just having the one store and it's full? Like, what does that look like?
I think that if you asked me that question like 2 years ago, I would say, yeah, let's open locations even on the moon. Now I have 2 locations. I said, no, come on, no. I've been better with 1 location right now.
Yeah.
I'll be controlling everything perfectly, you know, not dealing with unnecessary employees or unnecessary problems.
So what's the struggle of having 2 then? Like, what's the real hard part?
So I think that what really made us struggle right now, it's investing money or putting money in something that didn't help us. The example of the employees, like 6 employees in a place that's selling $25,000, it's a delusion, right?
Yeah.
But I had to do it because of the papers. So the main goal for all this business was the papers.
Yeah.
Now that I got the papers, I'm keeping the problem, right? You know how hard it is to get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
Even if you have like a soft heart like I do.
I'm cold, bro. I'm very direct.
Meet my new manager.
I mean, that's just how I'll tell people, like, I love you. You're a great person. I hope you do well in life. This ain't gonna work for me. That's it. You know?
Yeah. Wow.
So
I need to learn that from you.
I mean, here's the thing. I believe in. So I wasn't always this way first. Okay, I had to learn to be this way, but I was treated this way by some of my bosses. But these were people who I looked up to. So first and foremost, you have to be, if you're going to be direct with people, you have to be in a leader position. You have to be leading by example, right? Nobody wants to get criticized or get blunt advice from somebody who doesn't have their shit together, right? But if somebody really looks up to you as a manager and they're not doing a good job and you give them critical feedback, they're not going to take it well in the moment. But when they think about their goals, man, I really want to be like Camilo and I'm dropping the ball, they're going to appreciate that, even if they get fired, because you're going to put them one step closer to their goals, right?
Gotcha.
So that's just how I view it. And also, I just don't have time. Like, you have one life. It's your business, right? So your business is not worth, like, risking your business is not worth not hurting their feelings, right? I would hurt as many people's feelings as I have to because I only have one life to live. I would hurt everybody's feelings because, like, I don't have time to, like, you know. That's my perspective on life. So, yeah, and I think everybody should be that way.
That's probably why, you know, you just said, like, you had people that you were looking up to them and they done that to you. I never had a boss, so I don't know how to handle that situation. So
yeah,
good point right there.
Yeah, I think it's, well, maybe not a boss, but you have like mentors or people that you look up to, right? You should find a mentor, like another business owner or somebody who has like a really big piece of business and just like.
Yeah, well, I came across like customers. They're really big. Like this guy came over to get a slice, and he used to own like 150 restaurants as a chain, and that he sold it all back in the 2000s.
Wow.
And now he's opening another chain, and he was dealing with 70 of them already. Like, bro.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me like, it was like, yeah, this is a small little business that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all perspective. Yeah, you should talk to that guy.
Well, my pizza probably wasn't that good for him. I never saw him again.
I mean, it could have been the best pizza he's had, you know. Well, cool, man. So, what questions do you have for me?
I think I will play the Uno card on you.
Sure.
On the question, like, what would be your advice for people that want to invest here and just start up their own business?
This is a perfect segue. So, I don't know if you're investing. Do you have like a long-term investment account?
I opened up a Coinbase account and I just put money over there.
So I'm gonna show everyone the power of compound interest, and I'll remember to put this chart in. So can you put the initial investment as 0, and let's do a monthly contribution. What's a reasonable amount that you would want to invest every month?
I get $1,000.
All right, let's do $1,000 a month. 1,000 is in. Let's do. How old are you?
Almost 26, 25.
25. So assuming, let's just do 40 years. Let's do 40 years in there. And interest rate, let's do 8%. Hit calculate. Cool. So without those numbers, Camilo, 40 years, you'd have $3.1 million. All right, investing $1,000 a month. So to answer your question, to anybody coming to America, or even people here in America, this applies really to everybody, you need to think really, really big. You need to think long term, right? So I started doing this later than I should have. But I think one of the problems that we have as entrepreneurs is we focus on, like, there's these really cool problems we're always trying to solve. Like, we love solving problems, right? And like working. But this is like the easy stuff, but it's super delayed satisfaction or gratification. So I would just say whether it's, and this is just like to show the power of investing, but I think this applies to everything. So when I think about fitness or health, it's what can I do on a daily basis that's just very, very small and just do that forever. Because like we'll be alive in 40 years, you know, God willing. And if you like, even if your business never explodes, if you just invested $1,000 a month, you'd still be a multimillionaire. And that's what I think about it, is just because the alternative is what most people live. Most people do nothing because they're always trying to make money quick. And most people try to make money quick every day for the rest of their life, and they don't make any money at all. So that would be my advice. The other thing that I would say just in general is you got to be passionate, man. Like, this sounds cliche, but life is like hard. Starting a business is hard. It doesn't make sense. You know, nobody's going to get it. There's going to be easier ways. Like, you could go work for somebody. Like, there's going to be easier ways to make money or even make good money. Well,
disclaimer, that doesn't mean that you don't have to go a step forward and open up your business.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, it's if you love it, that is what will carry you through the hard times.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't love it, though,
exactly,
you'll quit. So be smart. Love the journey, I would say. Don't be afraid to pivot, right? I've done so many, like, things in life. Like, I was passionate about every one of them, but it's like sometimes you don't know what's around the corner until you get to the corner, you know? So it's like you got to just, sometimes you sprint full steam in one thing, and then once you get there, you see so much more. And you're like, oh, I can do this. And then you go do something else, right?
You know what? Somebody told me twice this great trick that they have for business.
What's that?
They told me, open up a business. If in 3 months you don't succeed, just close the company.
Really?
If you don't make money in 3 months, just go.
Don't let them talk to me. I mean, yeah. This channel, this podcast, I plan to monetize it. It's been way more than 3 months. It's not, this channel doesn't make money. I sink money to this all the time, right? Luckily, the studio, like, renting this makes money, but this channel doesn't make any money. It just costs me money.
Yeah, so. And with that, let me ask you something, because you talked about loving what you do.
Yeah.
Do you think that passion complicates business?
Does passion complicate business? Maybe it could, but I mean, we're supposed to, like, being in love with something feels good, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, you should automate your business and it should be easy, but the reason that you love doing it is because you're in it, right? Like, you know, we all like to use like we all love falling in love. Like imagine if you could fall in love in every aspect of your life, right? But you can't be in love with something and be like very like dispassionate and like uninvolved. You know what I'm saying? So yes, but that's the fun. That's the fun part. You know what I mean?
Well, I assume that you spend long hours.
I do
in
this.
front of the
I mean,
computer.
how long? I was here 11 hours yesterday, like all day, the Saturday, and I was here the day before, and
You mean recording?
just working, man. There's so much stuff to do on the channels and things like. After you leave, I'll be here all night. So,
Oosh.
yeah, man, I just love it. But this podcast, like to your question, like it gives me a reason to talk to people, ask questions, figure out where people are in life, and that's really cool. For me, I love doing, and I see it as, a way to have like a legacy, right? This is like a conversation that'll maybe 1 million people watch it, maybe 50 do, but it could impact somebody. So cool. I have a few more questions, or really just 2 more main questions for you. The first one is, what is your biggest fear?
I have no fear.
All right. If you had to be afraid of something, it could be it doesn't have to be business related. Just like what are you afraid of? What keeps you up at night?
I say that the biggest fear as an investor, let's say, because I'm investing money in a business, right? That's my papers. I came here to invest. As an investor, the biggest fear is like lose all the money and never probably recoup from that,
Okay, let's walk through that. I always do this when I ask this question. Let's say you never recover. Why is that so bad?
I think that I will feel just discouraged. That's it, to be honest. It will take me a couple weeks of crying.
Sure.
But then I know that I can do a lot with my 2 hands. I did it in the pandemic, and I'm telling you, everything was closed. You couldn't go work if you wanted to.
Are there people that you think have started a pizza business, ran it for a few years, failed, and then were successful doing something else?
I know a guy in Argentina that he opened up a restaurant. So this woman, the food critic, went to that restaurant, and she completely set the place into fire. Like that was the worst review that the restaurant ever had.
Wow.
Like a food critic, something, I don't know, crazy. So, and at the same time, that same guy, the same chef, was opening up another restaurant, and she was invited to the other restaurant. Let's say in the same time, and she loved the spot.
Yeah.
She gave that spot like 5 stars, and that spot, it's famous now.
Yeah.
And it's growing bigger. The guy never stopped. The guy always believed, even though he had a shitty restaurant and a good one at the same time, he never stopped.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I mean, that's the lesson there, But I like thinking these things through, because most people, like, their identity is wrapped up in their business. A lot of entrepreneurs, right? So failing at your business becomes very personal because you feel like you failed at life. But it's like you could just do something else.
Yeah. Well, I think that the society has this thing about comparing to yourself to others.
Yeah.
I think that the reason that some people, they just want to succeed is just because they just want to be like somebody, right?
Yeah.
Or become somebody in order to what? I don't know. But it's your journey. If God decides you to fail that business in order to learn something, that's the way He's gonna go.
Yeah.
It's that way.
Yeah.
But don't be like crying because your neighbor opened up a business yesterday and he's doing $1 million in sales right now.
Yeah.
Like,
so much of it is like, it's hard work and timing, luck, too. Sometimes you strike gold, sometimes you dig forever, right? But that's why you have to love the process. You can't only love the outcome, because, like, there's so many ways to make money, So like, if making money is your goal, then you could just do that. But my last question is, what are you most excited about this year?
I will start saying that probably 70 to 90% of the restaurants that open on the first year, they fail.
Yep.
I'm entering into the 4th year. That's exciting news for me. So I'm excited because I think that this year is going to be the year that all those doubts all those problems are going to be fixed by me. Yeah. I'm going to fix the problems. But I think that this is the year. This is the year that all of the bad things that happen are not going to happen.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Love to see it. So what's the name of your restaurant?
It's called La Rosa Pizzeria in Boca.
In Boca. You have a website, I imagine?
I'm working on a new website.
Well, I know you have,
it's larosapizza.com.
You have an Instagram. What's the Instagram?
Yeah, La Rosa Pizzeria with double S.
Double S. Obviously, the link will be down in the description of this video. If you want some pizza or just want some business advice, hit Camilo up. He's been doing this, like he said, 4 years, and this year is about to be his year. If you want some general investing advice, hit me up. If you're still watching to the end, thank you, love you, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, send a DM, call your parents. I don't know why I always say that. It's just fun to say that. You guys, we should all call our parents. I've started calling my parents more this year.
Yeah, well.
I'm a terrible, terrible son. Nonetheless, thank you, Camilo. Yeah, that's it, man.
Woo.
Cool.
I'm never gonna look back, 'cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's fact.